It is the weekend, it's Sunday. Welcome to the Purple Elephant Show. I am your host, KC Phoenix. So here we are. All right, I told you I would discuss the voters this weekend, especially with black voters, and the situation with the president. And as I said before, for those who have been following the show and know with my premonition that I said President Trump will more than likely win the election. But one thing I want to make clear is that one of the biggest reasons that he will more than likely win is because of minorities. Minorities put President Trump in office the first time. A lot of people don't realize that, and I mentioned this before. When President Trump first won, Van Jones had said that there was a white lash. The white lash was inaccurate information and it was totally wrong when Van Jones said that. There was only a 1% increase in white voters in the 2016 election versus the 2012 election when Romney had ran. And with the minority vote, he had more support than expected. Now, this is what I want to bring up. I pulled up Fox's 2016 exit polls, and of course, you already know for black people, it was 8% is what it was because they did it by race. And for Donald Trump, 57% white, black 8%, Latino Hispanic 28%, Asian 27%, other 36% for President Trump. And this was a sample of, if you want to get exact, I say around 24,000, but the exact it says is 24,214. All right. Then they asked, are you white, so on and so forth. And that was, white was 57%, non-white 21%. Okay, then they broke it down by race. And that was in sex by race. This was the interesting thing. With black men, of within that 8%, so 13% of the people who voted for President Trump were black men. All right. So with black women, I'm showing, where is it at? Where is it at? I just had it in front of me. Okay. Black women, it was 4%. So that's actually a little bit more than 3 times the difference right there. Because, yeah, 3 times 4 is 12. So 13% versus 4% of black women. Overall, 8% of black people voted for President Trump in the 2016 election is what is estimated as. Now, this was interesting too. With Latino men, it was 32%, but with Latino women, it was 25% within the percentage of those voting who were Latino or Hispanic. Now, a poll just came out in Florida, and it was for, I want to say ABC, if I'm not mistaken. And the poll literally just came out within the last 24 hours or so. And I'm not big on polls, but the thing is that the poll that came out, the Hispanic Latino support that is happening for President Trump in Florida is more than 40%. It was around, I want to say 44 or 46, give or take. That is pretty much checkmate. Now, this doesn't mean, if you're in the United States, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote. Please go to the polls and vote. As a matter of fact, my ballot is already filled out. I'm dropping it off later and doing that. I live in California, so I'm not big on it. I just want my vote to count. But also in the state of California, as long as it's postmarked before the day of the election, then they will count the ballots. I think it's up to 14 days after the election. But regardless, I plan to drop mine off, and then that'll be that, just so I can have my vote count. I don't expect too much because I am in California. And the people in California are, how can I put this in a nice way? Uninformed. So they don't they don't follow politics as closely as some other people do. So more than likely they will not be voting or they'll be voting Democrat. And then in addition to that, they will also have other shenanigans going on behind the scenes with the usual ballot harvesting and everything else. So it's just kind of like, okay, let me just make sure my vote counts. And then that's it. If I was in a battleground state, I vote in person. But what I'm saying is that I'm confident due to all of the endorsements with the polls that have been happening. And like I said, I'm not big on polls, but according to what's recently been happening while people have been voting, when it comes to minorities for Florida, Latinos, Hispanics are supporting President Trump way more than they did last time. And not that the support that was received during the 2016 election was a small amount, because it wasn't. The support that was received during the 2016 election is one of the reasons why he made it into office, along with the black vote, the Asian vote, and also the LGBT vote. So I want to make that clear. But also with black people voting in this election, with the recent polls that have been happening, they're showing that in certain states, black people are not voting for Democrats, or they are staying at home thus far. They haven't mailed in any ballots, or they're just not going to go out and vote because Joe Biden has not created any type of enthusiasm. There has to be more than Orange Man bad. In addition to that, they were saying that Texas was in play. Well, I don't know if anybody recently saw the Biden bus when they were in Texas. They were planning on doing some campaign stops, but then some Trump supporters with the flags on their trucks were riding. And I'm laughing because if you've seen it, you hear the song Welcome to the Red Kingdom, which I've never heard that song before. I don't even know who does that song. I have to look it up because it's actually kind of funny. But that happened, and now Biden has canceled all of his appearances in Texas. In my opinion, that was just a reason. The campaign staff, they were looking for a reason to cancel his appearances in Texas. For him to cancel the appearances just because some people in trucks with Trump flags followed the bus, that doesn't make sense. You want to be president of the United States. You want to sit across from other leaders of the world and dictators, and some dictators who have nuclear weapons and everything else. And you can't deal with a couple of trucks and some flags and some Trump flags. Yeah, you're probably not the person for the job. So I feel it was just an excuse for the campaign because they knew they were not going to win Texas anyway. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have been leaving California to go to Texas because obviously California, the policies that have been enacted in the state are not great. And the people who ran away from that, I doubt they're going to vote, or that they will vote for those same policies now that they've moved to Texas, unless they're complete idiots. So back to the minority thing. I believe, and this is my guess, Candace Owens said 20%. I'm going for 25. I'm going for 25. The only reason I say that is because of, and not that celebrity endorsements mean a lot, but with Kanye, he's running in, or as he calls it, walking for office. He's running in a few states, but everyone still knows Kanye supports President Trump. That's a given. Also, that Lil Wayne endorsement, even though Lil Wayne said he hasn't really endorsed, but I mean, he took a picture with the president, said that the president was open to some suggestions that were made, and they incorporated into the Platinum Plan, which is the thing for the African American community, which President Trump plans to execute in his new term. And Wayne doing that, that's kind of a big deal too. I don't necessarily believe that it's going to hold a whole bunch of weight, but I do believe that it will make people pause, good, bad, or indifferent, in the black community and be like, wait, Lil Wayne with President Trump? And it might get some people thinking and researching so they can hear about the things that President Trump has done for the black community that the news never covers. Because people have to remember, the news doesn't cover anything good when it comes to the Trump administration. You haven't heard anything about all these peace deals that have happened with Israel and the UAE, with Israel and Bahrain, with Kosovo and Serbia. Also there with Israel and Sudan as well. And then there's another one. And of course, Saudi Arabia, which I'm not a huge fan of Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia is supposed to be coming on board, and other things are supposed to be happening in regards to peace deals in the Middle East. They don't cover any of that because they don't want the president to look good. They don't cover the information about the HBCUs. They haven't really covered criminal justice reform on what President Trump has done. They haven't covered that prescription drug prices will go down next year because President Trump did favored nations to get better rates. And that's not necessarily something towards minorities per se. It's more towards Americans that will help all Americans, but also it will help people in the minority community because it saves people in the minority community money. But with opportunity zones and so on and so forth, and there are so many other things that President Trump has done to help minorities. Also, he's doing other plans for Latinos and Hispanics to help them with small businesses, to bring more jobs to their communities as well. I honestly believe he'll get 25% of the black vote this time. And I feel like he spoke this into existence. I don't know if you guys believe in the law of attraction, but when President Trump was first running, he kept on saying, I'm going to get 25% of the black vote. He kept on saying that. I'm going to get 25%. And he didn't get 25% during 2016. He got 8%. However, now with what's going on, I believe he is probably very close. I'm 80%, 85% sure that he's going to get 25% of the black vote this time. If he gets 25% of the black vote, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. And again, like I said before, white people did not put President Trump in office in 2016. Minorities put President Trump in office. President Trump only won Michigan, Pennsylvania, and so on and so forth by a few votes. It wasn't like he won by 500,000 votes in these states. He only won by maybe 9,000, 10,000, or 11,000 votes. So minorities put President Trump in office. Same thing with LGBT, with gay people. It was estimated 10 to 13%. And now it's estimated that even more LGBT people are supporting President Trump this time around. There was a small rally in Beverly Hills yesterday, and there were rainbow flags all over the place at the rally that they had at the get together. And there were thousands of people that got together at this little rally. And this was in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills. So I honestly believe minorities will put President Trump in office again, except on a larger scale this time. Of course, we love the white people. I love you, white people. I'm not one of those who thinks anything white is bad, which is crazy how people are so sensitive right now. Anything with the word white in it, they're like, oh my God, we got to change it. But for this election, be on the lookout. When The polls close. I I would be shocked if we don't know the results within 24 hours. I'd be kind of shocked. I The only way we wouldn't know in 24 hours is if there's some type of shenanigans going on. And there's something that's on my mind, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to say it. There's something on my mind, and it's been on my mind for 4 days. It's been on my mind for 4 days. I don't want to say it yet. I want to wait and see once the polls close. if what's been on my mind for 4 days comes to pass. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. The Purple Elephant Show, main podcasting platform. The Purple Elephant Show on Parler, on Instagram. If you are on Facebook, facebook.com/The Purple Elephant Show. If you're on Twitter, at Real TPES. If you are watching this on BitChute, YouTube, or Dailymotion on this lovely Sunday, even though it might be Monday on BitChute because my uploads seem to be a day late on BitChute lately. Definitely don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by the notification bell on YouTube. And thank you again to everyone who have been listening to the podcast, especially those in Ireland. The percentage keeps on going up and up in Ireland. So shout out to Ireland. And by the way, I've been looking at Ireland for travel purposes, and they're still doing the quarantine thing. Like if you fly into Ireland, you have to wait for 14 days and all this other stuff. So when all of that passes over, I am so visiting Ireland because I really want to visit Ireland, not just because it's kind of interesting that a lot of people in Ireland are listening to the show, but also because it's so pretty. And I want to visit that. I want to visit Ireland, and I want to visit Budapest. I want to go to Budapest because I didn't know that Budapest was so pretty. I had seen some pictures randomly through something else, and I'm like, wow, that's nice. So yeah, but Ireland is on my list to visit. Promise. Promise, promise, promise. All right, so let me get going. I have things to do. Love you guys. Until next time, be blessed.